Hare Krishna, Om Gyana Timirandasya, Gyanangina Shalakya, Chakshur Umilitamina, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobistam, Stapitmen Bhutale, Saurapakadamahyam, Tadati Svapadantikam, Vandeham Shri Guru, Shutapada Kamalam, Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajtam Sхагна Рагунатам Витам Там Сачвам, с Двайтам Савдутам Париджана Сахитам Кришна Чайтяня Девам, Ширада Кришна Падам, Сахак Ганалолита Шивишакан Витам Шча. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostute, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishapanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhānta Swamiti Namine Namaho Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhānta Swamiti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskatyade Chatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Śrīvasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Śrīvasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Śrīvasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now I will again try to sing those three songs. These three songs which the Vaishnavas sing in the Kartika month. Of course, the Kartika month begins tomorrow, but I would like to try to sing them also today. Shri Radha Kripa Kataksha Stava Raja, spoken by Shiva, by Lord Shiva, in the Urdhvamnaya Tantra. So verses from 1 to 3.
Munindra Vrnda Vandita Triloka Shoka Harini Prasanna Vaktra Pankaj Nikunja Bhuvilasini Vrajendra Banu Nandini Vrajendra Sono Sangati Kadakari Shashiyama Kripa Kataksha Bhajana Ashoka Vrikshavari Vitana Mandapastite Pravala Pava Pravapurangri Komale Varapayas Puratkare Prabhuta Sampadalaya Kadakari Shashiyamam Kripakataksha Bhajana Amangaranga Mangala Prasanga Bhayura Bhruvam Savibramam Sasabramam Devanta Bana Patanai Nidantaram Vashikrita Pratiti Nanda Nandani Kadakari Shashimam Ripakataksha Bhajana.
O Srimati Radhika, who are glorified by great sages, O you who dispel the lamentation of the three worlds, whose lotus face blossoms with a humorous smile and who sports in the kunjas, O beloved daughter of King Vrishapanu, O most dear, near and dear to the son of the king of Raj, when will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? Verse 2, Shloka 2. O you who are present in a pavilion made of creepers that are entwined around Ashoka trees, whose beautiful tender reddish feet have the luster of coral and newly sprouting reddish leaves, and whose raised hand grants benedictions and fearlessness. O abode of infinite opulence, when will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? Verse 3, Shloka 3. O you who, on the stage of amorous sports, in the course of an auspicious discussion, express amazement by curving your eyebrows like bows, and then suddenly firing the arrows of your sidelong glances piercing the son of Srinanda with the amorous delusion and bringing him under your perpetual control. When will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? Verses from 4 to 6.
Suvarna Champaka Pradipta Gaura Vigrahe Mohaprabha Parasta Koti Sharadendu Mandale Vichinta Chitra Sancharak Chakora Shavelochane Kadakari Shashivama Ripakataksha Bhajana Tumadatiovane Pramodamana Mandite Priyanuragaranjite Kalavilasa Pandite Ananya Danya Kujaraja Kama Keli Kovine Kadakari Shashihama Ripakataksha Bhajana Ashishahava Bhavadir Hira Hara Bhushite Raputa Shata Kumbha Kumbha Kumbi Kumbha Sustani Prashasta Manda Hasya Chut Purna Saukya Sagari Kadakari Shashi Hamam Ripakataksha Bhajana.
Verse 4, Shloka 4. O you whose radiant and fair form resembles lightning, gold, and champaka flowers, whose lotus face defeats the splendor of the effulgence of millions of autumnal moons, and whose eyes, restless like those of a young chakora bird, make various astonishing expressions at each moment. When will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? O you who are intoxicated by your youthfulness, who are decorated with delightful ornament of silky anger, who reveals in your lover's attachment to you, who revels in your lover's attachment to you, and who are supremely proficient in the art of loving affairs, O you who are the most learned in knowledge of living sports, within the realm of your confidential, auspicious forest groves, when will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? Verse 6. Shloka 6. O you who are decorated with the ornaments of Anubhava, such as Hava and Bhava, and the diamond necklace of gentleness and gravity, whose breasts are like water pots made of pure gold and which resemble the twin mounts on the head of an elephant, O you whose glorious, gentle smile is like an ocean full of bliss. When will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? Verses 7 and 8. Shlokas 7 and 8. Brina
Lava, lava, duranga, ranga, dorlate, latagra, lasya, lola, nil, luchanava, lucane, lava, lola, mila, menu, moha, mohana, shrite, katakarisha, shihama, ripakatakša, bhajana, suvarna, marikanchita, Trireka Kambo Kantage Trisutra Mangali Guna Triratna Dipti Dipti Salola Nila Kuntala Prasuna Gocha Gopite Kadakari Shashiyama Ripakataksha Bhajana.
verse 7. O you whose arms are like the tender stems of a lotus swaying in the water's waves, whose glance from the blue eyes resembles the tips of creepers dancing in the breeze, who allure Madna Mohana to follow you, and upon meeting him, steal away his mind and give him shelter in his state of enchantment. When will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? O you whose neck is marked with the 3 lines like a conch shell, and is adorned with golden necklaces and an auspicious sutra, glowing with 3 kinds of brilliant gems. This sutra, there was some note here. What does it mean, this sutra? A Mangala sutra is a special necklace worn by married girls for auspiciousness. Sutra, glowing with 3 kinds of brilliant gems. O you whose bluish black tresses, interwoven in a braid with clusters of flower blossoms, sway to and fro. When will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? So, verses 9 and 10.
Bimbalambama Puspamekala Prasana.
verses 9 and 10.
Bimbalambama pushpame kalagune prasastaratna kinkini kalapama mitamba bimbalambama pushpame kalagune prasastaratna kinkini kalapama diamanjule karindra sundadandika varoha savagurage Kadakarishamam Ripakatakshabhajanam Aneka mantra nadamanj Nupuraravaskala Samajaraja Hamzavams Nikvanati Gurave Vilola Hemavalari Vidambicharu Chankrame Kadakarishamam Ripakatakshabhajana.
Verse 9, Shloka 9. O you from whose rounded hips hangs a wreath of excellent flowers, on whose charming slender waist a sublime belt of tiny bejeweled bells sweetly rings, and whose beautiful thighs taper like the sloping trunk of the king of elephants, when will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? Verses 10. No, sorry. Verse 10. Verse 10, I haven't read it yet. Yes, the translation. Now the translation of verse 10. O you whose ankle bells, sweetly resounding with a host of Vedic mantras, resemble O you whose ankle bells, sweetly resounding with a host of Vedic mantras, resemble the warbling of a flock of royal swans, and whose beautiful gait mocks the movements of a swaying golden creeper, will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? Now, but I'm not sure if I already did already sang verse 10. I'm not sure. Yes, I think I sang already. I have sung already verse 10. Okay. Now verses 11 to 13.
Ananta Koti Vishnu Lok Namra Padma Jarsite Himadri Japulo Maja Virinka Javara Prade Apara Siri Gasat Padangurina Kadakari Shashi Hamam Ripakataksha Bhajana Makeshvari Kriyeshvari Swadeshvari Sureshvari Triveda Bharatishvari Pramana Shasaneshvari Rameshvari Sameshvari Pramoda Kananeshvari Vrajeshvari Vrajadipe Shiradike Namostute Iti Mamat Putamstava Nishamya Bhanu Nandini Karotu Santa Tanjana Ripakataksha Bhajana Pavita Daiva Sanchita Trirupa Karma Nashana Pavita Devrajendra Sun Mandala Praveshana.
Verse 11. Shloka 11. O you who are worshipped by Lakshmi Devi, the mistress of unlimited Vaikuntha planets, and who bestows benedictions upon Shri Parvati, Indrani, and Sarasvati, even one of the nails of your lotus feet gives rise to an infinite variety of spiritual perfections. Oh, when will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? Verse 12, Shloka 12. O mistress of all kinds of sacrifices, of all activities, of the mantras uttered during yajna, of all the gods, of the teachings of the three Vedas, of the enforcement of all scriptural principles, of the goddess of fortune, of forgiveness, and of the delightful forest of Vrindavana, O mistress and empress of Vraj, O Shrimati Radhika, I offer my pranama unto you. Verse 13, Shloka 13, translation. O daughter of Vrishapanu, upon hearing this wonderful prayer, please make me qualified to perpetually receive your merciful sidelong glance. By your mercy, my three types of karma will be destroyed, and at the moment I will enter the circle of the son of the king of Raj and his dearmost Sakis. So the three types of karma are, there is a note here, the three types of karma are accumulated reactions, fructifying reactions, and reactions from current activities. Willst du nicht das Licht anmachen? The next song is Sri Nanda Nandana Astakam, an ancient prayer by an unknown Vaishnava author.
Suchari Vaktramandalam Sukarnaratna Kundalam Sucharchitanga Chandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Netra pankajam Sikhi Sikhandamurtajam Ananga Koti Mohanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Sunashika Gramatikam Swachandadanta Panktikam Navambudanga Chikanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Karena Vinoranjitam Gati Karindra Ganjitam Lukulapita Shobhanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Tribanga Deha Sundaram Nakadyuti Sudakaram Amularatna Bhushanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam.
the verses from 1 to 5. Translation. His round face is so lovely, his beautiful ears, so this is Krishna actually. Yes. So his beautiful ears are adorned with hanging jeweled earrings, and his body is nicely anointed with fragrant sandalwood paste. I offer pranama to the Srinanda Nandana. Verse 2. His eyes are elongated like lotuses. Peacock feathers adorn his head, and he enchants millions of cupids. I offer pranama to that Sri Nanda Nandana. So Sri Nanda Nandana, that means actually the mm, um, the son of Maharaja Nanda. Verse 3, Shloka 3. From the tip of his beautiful nose hangs an elephant pearl. His rows of teeth shine naturally like pearls, and his bodily complexion shines like a fresh rain cloud. I offer pranama to that Srinanda Nandana. Verse 4. His hands are adorned with a flute. His majestic gait excels that of the king of elephants, and he is beautified by fine yellow garments. I offer garments. I offer pranama to that Sri Nandana. Verse 5. Shloka 5. His threefold bending form is most beautiful. His nails glow like the moon, and he is adorned by priceless gems. I offer gems. I offer pranama to that Srinanda Nandana. Verses 6 to 9.
Sukandahanga sarabam Urovirachikastubam Surachrivatsalanjanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Vrindavana Sunagaram Vilasanugavasasam Surendra Garva Mochanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Vrajangana Sunayakam Sada Sukha Pradayakam Jaganmana Pralopanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Shri Nandanandanastakam Patitya Shraddhayanvita Taritbhava Bhinustaram Labhaita Tangri Hukmakam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam.
So, verses from 6 to 9. Verse 6. His body exudes an extraordinarily enchanting fragrance, and upon his broad chest the Kaustubha gem shines. Along with the mark of Srivatsa, I offer pranama to the Srinanda Nandana. Verse 7, Shloka 7. He is Vrindavana's expert paramour, who dresses in a manner to enhance his charming, playful pastimes and who liberates Indra from his pride, I offer pranama to that Sri Nandana. Verse 8, Shloka 8. The exquisite lover of the damsels of Raja always bestows happiness upon all living entities and enchants their mind. I offer pranama to that Sri Nandana. Shloka 9, verse 9. Whoever with faith recites these 8 verses, glorify the son of Nanda, will easily conquer the insurmountable ocean of material existence and attain shelter at his 2 lotus feet. The next is Sri Damodara Astakam, spoken by Satyavrata Muni.
Namamishvaram Sachitanandarupa Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Yashoda Biyolokala Devamana Paramrista Matyanto Drutya Gopya Rutanto Muhurnatrayugmam Rijantam Karambojayugmena Satankanetra Mohusvasakam Patri Rakakantasthita Grivadamoda Rambhakti Padam.
So, translation of the first 2 verses. I worship the Supreme Controller, whose form is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Upon his cheeks, makara-shaped earrings are swinging, and he shines most brilliantly in Gokula, running away from the grinning mortar. In great fear of Mother Yashoda, he was ultimately caught from behind. Verse 2. Weeping incessantly, he rubs his eyes with his 2 lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear. He takes heavy breaths again and again that cause the pearls and other ornaments around his neck, which is marked by 3 gracefully curving lines, to tremble. I offer pranama unto that Damodara, who is bound by his mother's Vatsalya Bhakti. Verses 3, 4, and 5.
Hititra Svalila Pirananda Kunde Svagosham Nimachanta Makaya Panta Tadishitagni Shubhaktirjitattvam Puna Prema Tastam Sadavritivande Varam Deva Mokshava Nachanavrine Varishatapiya Idam Deva Purnata Gopalabala Sadvaimanasya Virastam Kimaya Idam Temukam Bojam Bhavyaktanilai Vritam Kuntalai Sniga Raktaschagovya Muhus Kumbitam Bimbaraktadarame Manasa Virasta Alam Lakshalabhai.
translation of verse 3. Through pastimes such as these, he drowns the residents of Gokula in pools of bliss, thereby informing people who are aware of his godhood, that he can only be conquered by his devotees. Hundreds of times I again offer loving obeisance to him. Verse 4, Shloka 4. O Deva, I do not ask for liberation from this world, nor the highest liberation of residence in Vaikuntha, nor do I seek any other benediction from you. So here is a note. Na Chanyam, others also, can refer either to the benediction of performing the 9 limbs of bhakti or to achieving any other worldly attainment. Nor do I seek any other benediction from you, the supreme benefactor. O Nata, may this form Nata, this means actually Lord. May this form of yours as Bala Gopala, a little cowherd boy in Vrindavana, forever remain visible in my heart. What is the use of any other benediction? Verse 5, Shloka 5. Your lotus-like face, encircled by soft blackish blue curly locks of hair that have a reddish glow, is repeatedly kissed by the gopi Shri Yashoda, the mother of Krishna. May your lotus face, with lips like red bimba fruit, always remain manifested in my heart. I do not care about millions of other attainments. Verses 6, 7, and 8.
Namo Deva Damodarananda Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jalabhimagya Kripadrasti Vrastyate Dinabhatanu Grihaneshamamakya Kshidrisya Kuferet Macham.
Kan du schließen die Tür?
Kuverma Kuveratma Jaupata Murtyaiva Yadva Tvayamuchita Bhakti Vajagrita Cha Tata Prema Bhakti Svakame Prayojana Mokshagraho Misti Tamodare Namaste Damne Sporadati Damne Tvaldiyadurayata Vishvasya Damne Namuradikayai Tvadiya Priyai Namunantalilai Divaya Tubhya Namuradikayai Tvadiya Priyai Namunantalilai Divaya Tubhyam.
So I must sing very quietly because it is already a little bit late now here. So, verse 6, Shloka 6. O Deva, O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, obeisance unto you. O Prabhu, be pleased with me. I am drowning in an ocean of miseries. Alas, I am most afflicted and do not know what to do. O Isha, shower me with your merciful glance, and kindly uplift me by becoming directly visible to my eyes. Verse 7, Shloka 7. Just as you freed the two sons of Kuvera, even while bound around the belly, and made them recipients of devotion, similarly, please bestow upon me profuse Prema Bhakti to you in your form as a little cowherd boy. O Damodara, I long for this alone. I do not want any other kind of liberation. Verse 8, Shloka 8. O Damodara, I offer pranama to the rope binding your belly, for it is an abode of brilliant effulgence. I offer pranama to your belly, which is the mainstay of the entire universe. I offer pranama again and again to Srimati Radhika, your most beloved, and I offer pranama to you, my divine Lord, who perform unlimited transcendental pastimes. So now I will continue with the reading the books. Now let's see where I was. Just a moment. Yes. As you all know, this is Gaudiya Darsana, a lecture. This is translation of a lecture of His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvati Ṭhākura Prabhupāda. Lecture. Yes. This is the translation of this lecture in English from Shri Prema Prayojana Prabhu, and also there are explanations on the lecture of His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvati Ṭhākura Prabhupāda, the Diksha Guru of His Divine Grace Jahnava Vrnda Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda. Jai Gaudiya Darsana. Jai Shri Prema Prayojana Prabhu. Jai His Divine Grace Jahnava Vrnda Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda. Jai His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvati Ṭhākura Prabhupāda. So, let's see where I am. Just a moment. Oh, yes. The last was, yes, there was an verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.10, and then I tried to sing it for the verse and to read, and then I read the translation. Now I continue to read from the text here. The text of the lecture. No one can understand the katha of Chit Vilasa, the discussions concerning the realm of spiritual love sports, unless and until one is a liberated soul. Whoever is mistakenly imagining that endeavoring for paltry material pleasures or impersonal liberation is independence, their qualification and their aspiration is extremely meager. Little, maybe. Yes, meager. In Gaudiya Darsana, people are not driven to deviate from the purpose of life by the discussion of topics concerning such insignificant, contracted aspirations. Some say that the highest mukti, liberation, will only be attained by taking shelter of Mercury. Illness is destroyed by unconscious Mercury. The dead can be brought back to life by Mercury. This is very interesting. You know the sign of Mercury, Hage. So it is considered to be very poisonous. But who knows? Who knows really? Maybe it is true what is written here. I'm a chemist, so um, I don't see a reason not to not to uh, not to ask. mm, mm, who knows? Maybe mercury really can be used for healing. Who knows? Because in many cases, you all know, in many cases, it's like this. Mm, something which is actually poisonous could be used in special special concentration, in lower concentration, in specific, in some particular way, as um, as a medicine. So what's the problem? Who knows? Illness is destroyed by unconscious mercury. The dead can be brought back to life by mercury. The power of move arises from empty mercury. Mercury transports one beyond the excruciating pain of the ocean of repeated birth and death. The worship of a Shivalinga made of mercury is superior to the worship of Shiva in the sacred places of pilgrimage such as Kashi. Some people think that the mind can be made peaceful by keeping the body in a state of health with Ayurvedic medicines such as Makaradvaja, and have been purified by the six qualities such as Makaradvaja that have been purified by the six qualities. By taking shelter of Mahadeva, we will become this kind of aspirant for worldly enjoyment and liberation. All these paltry opinions or endeavors for an insignificant degree of independence are only the efforts of jivas in their materially bound condition. This type of discussion, based on the materially bound condition or the education and skills that take the jiva even further into his conditioned state, is not spoken of in Gaudiya Darsana. In Gaudiya Darsana, Katha of the factual liberation of the non-liberated and the Katha of service of the spiritual love sports of the highest liberated persons by the liberated persons by the liberated persons is glorified in an exceedingly beautiful way. So I somehow I lost the sentence. I will read the sentence again. Just a moment. In Gaudiya Darsana, kata of the factual liberation of the non-liberated and the kata of service of the spiritual love sports of the highest liberated persons by the liberated persons is glorified in an exceedingly beautiful way. The Raseshvara worshippers of Shiva think that if there can be a system of temple worship of a carved deity, then why would there not be a system for the worship of Shiva made from Mercury? They have targeted the worship of the temporary idols of the Panchapasakas. 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 In Gaudiya Darsana, whatever has been described about the worship of the Sri Vigraha is far, far away from all this worship of mannequins. All the conceptions of the errant philosophers among the six darshans of Bharata, namely the Kevaladvaitavadis, imaginary, self-conceived anti-Vedanta commentary, and the conceptions of the other five philosophical schools, Shigora Sundara has demolished in just few words. I will again read the sentence. Again, I lost the meaning of the sentence. Just a moment. All the conceptions of the errant philosophers among the six darshanas of Bharata, namely the Kevaladvaitavadis, imaginary, self-conceived, and self-conceit anti-Vedanta commentary, and the conceptions of the other five philosophical schools, Sri Gorasundara has demolished in just a few words. So Sri Gorasundara has demolished in just a few words all the conceptions of the errant philosophers. So I will continue the next time with to read the text further. The Gayatri book. Jai the Gayatri book. Jai His Holiness Sachinanda Swami. Jai Abhayacharana Vrnda Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda, his Diksha Guru. Well, I have to say yes, okay. I forgot to say at the end. Jai Gaudiya Darsana, Jai Shri Prema Prayojana, Prabhu, Jai Śrīla Narayana Maharaj, his Guru, Diksha Guru, Jai His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvati, Ṭhākura, Prabhupāda. Jai His Holiness Sachinanda Swami, Jai His Divine Grace Abhayacharana Vrnda Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda. So, Upavita, the sacred thread. At the time of second initiation, Men receive from their guru a sacred thread called the Yagnopavita or simply Upavita. Yagnopavita or Upavita. Yagnopavita literally means that which surrounds Vishnu. Yagya Vishnu. Yagna Vishnu. Upavita surrounding. The idea is that a Brahmana wears a thread that surrounds Lord Vishnu. Śrīla Prabhupāda writes, the sacred thread is a sign of those who are competent to study the Vedas from the Acharya or the bona fide spiritual master. The spiritual master accepts only the sincere inquirer as his disciple and gives him the sacred thread. Note 21. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 122 Purport. Devotees often wonder how many single strands the Upavita should have. The Brahmanas in Indian culture usually wear 9 threads. According to some Vaishnavas, these 9 threads symbolize the 9 processes of bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, and so on. Others say they refer to the 9 islands of Sri Navadvipadama, and yet others say they represent the 9 stages from Shraddha to Prema, as explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Therefore, some Vaishnavas have explained these 3 ideas correspond to one another. Okay, I'll continue to read the next time. This is, yes, okay. Jai, the Gayatri book. Jai His Holiness Satchidananda Swami. Jai His Divine Grace Bhajan Vrnda Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda. Jai, the book, a place of sandalwood and roses. Jai Śrīmati Govinda Dasi. Jai His Divine Grace Bhajan Vrnda Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda. So, Chapter 11. The first meeting. Morning finally comes. It's a 15-block walk uphill. From there, flat at the base of height near market. And they want to arrive in plenty of time. So the 2 students board a bus bound for Golden Gate Park. Mukunda greets them. His soft-spoken, shy manner and sensitive eyes make them both feel comfortable. He's nothing like the wild hippie hordes from Rome who roam the streets of Upper Hyde Ashbury. Mukunda leads them to the building next door and into an elevator. The Swami is expecting you, he says. He says amiably as they walk down the hall toward the Swami's apartment. A whirlwind of excitement fills Bonnie's mind. What will she say? What will she say? How should she approach him? She has never met a Swami before and is nervous with anticipation. Sorry, I have to stop also here. I will continue next time. Jai Press Sandalwood Roses, Jai Shrimati Govinda Dasi, Jai His Divine Grace by Chairman Vrnda, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda. So, my dear Lila, this is the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita of Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Yesterday was his disappearance day. Jai Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, translation and explanations purports from His Divine Grace by Chairman Vrnda Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda. The next verse to read is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 892. Very interesting. Sorry, I will try to sing it first, the verse.
Hey Prema no Rupa na pare bachite Nihaya kahe bhagavate Hey prema here anurupa napare bachite Ateva ranihaya kahe bhagavate
Translation Ishimad Bhagavatam 10:32-22. It is said that Lord Krishna cannot proportionately reciprocate devotional service in the Madhurya Rasa. Therefore, he always remains a debtor to such devotees. Yes. For example, the gopis of Vrindavan. Of course, it is happening very naturally that Krishna cannot pay back. Not pay back. Sorry, he cannot reciprocate devotional service in Madhurya Rasa because under Jvala Rasa or Madnaki Mahabhav, the highest love in all the worlds, which Srimati Radhika has for Krishna. This love of Srimati Radhika to Krishna, this is the highest love in all the worlds, Madanakya Mahabhav or Unnata Ujvala Rasa, and only Radha can love in this way. Only Radha can have such feelings. That means that Krishna also cannot. So in this way, his eternal debtor, eternal his eternal debtor. I don't know if such a word exists actually. His eternal debtor has a debt which cannot be paid. He has such debt to such devotees. That means to pure devotees, because Srimati Radhika is the topmost pure devotee, as stated in verse 10 of Śrīla Upadeshamrita of Śrīla Rupa Goswami. After her are the gopis of Vrindavan in Vraja Lila. So the topmost pure devotee, so in this way, to those topmost devotees and to the actually the pure devotees, Krishna has always a debt to the pure devotees. And of course, they don't have the purpose. They don't have the pure devotees. They don't have the purpose to somehow control Krishna. But it just happens naturally, because the pure devotees love Krishna with very strongly. And as you all know, in every verse of Shri Shikshastaka, the love of a pure devotee to Krishna is described in this way. There is described also in every verse the love of every pure devotee to Krishna, and at the same time the love of Srimati Radhika to Krishna, who is the topmost pure devotee. In this way, in Shri Shikshastaka, in every verse, Unnata Ujvala Rasa or Madnaki Mahabhava is also described. And now I want to connect this love of a pure devotee to Krishna and the explanations which we heard before about the Gayatri mantras. There are so many principles, so many rules when to chant the Gayatri mantras, and a pure devotee actually does not need to chant Gayatri mantras. A pure devotee just loves the Lord. For example, the gopis of Vrindavan and Srimati Radhika, they don't sit somewhere and chant Gayatri mantras. They don't do such things. That does not mean that we not have to chant our Gayatri mantras if we have Gayatri mantras. Of course, we have to chant the Gayatri mantras, but I mean just like an example that actually um, um, just some kind of trial to compare. The disciples have to chant their Gayatri mantras. Those disciples who have Gayatri mantras, who have a second initiation, they have to chant their Gayatri mantras, and there are particular rules about this and when and how and so on. But the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, there are no rules about that, about the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And this is explained in verse 2 of Shikshastaka. Because in Shikshastaka, every verse explains, describes the love of a pure devotee to Sri Krishna, to Krishna. So, like a pure devotee does not have to chant the Gayatri mantra, the Gayatri mantras, so the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra does not need special rules and times to be chanted. For example, in verse, not for example, but in verse 2, it is described in verse 2 of Shastaka. Nanama Kari Bahujan Shaktis Trapitanyamata Smaranena Kala. Tatsidava Kripa Bhagavan Mapi. Tardaivam Tilshanta Janin Ragha. Namakadi Bahudni Shaktis Trapitanyamata Smaranena Kala. Tatsidava Kripa Bhagavan Mapi. Tardaivam Sorry for the pronunciation. Sorry, I cannot pronounce this, of course, but I just try. Yes. Nam akari bahutna jusha shaktis trapitanyam tesmene nakal. Tatsi dva kripak bhagwan mapi. Trefam tichim tachanin ragha. O Lord, in your uh, unlimited great mercy, you have given us your names, your holy names, and there are so many names of the Lord like Krishna, Govinda, Madhava, and many other names. O Lord, in your great mercy, you have, in your great mercy, you have done it in such a way that there are no any rules for chanting the holy names of the Lord. And at any time, a day or night, the holy names of the Lord can be chanted, can be said, can be sung. One can sing them and say them. And every person can, everybody, no any restrictions, everybody can chant the holy names of the Lord. And with the Gayatri mantras, we heard yesterday, not yesterday, but everybody knows that, no, everybody knows that the Gayatri mantras are chanted from a person who has second initiation already. And the Guru has given him or her the Gayatri mantra. But the holy names of the Lord, for the holy names of the Lord, to chant the holy names of the Lord, there are no any restrictions. Everybody can chant the holy names of the Lord. And what is said also in verse 2, let me remember what was also. Yes, and O Lord, in your great mercy, in your great unlimited mercy, you also have given to every name of you a special Shakti, a special power, a special benediction, which the person who chants that name, sings that name, and the persons who hear that name can receive these benedictions, these Shakti, these powers. And then he says, verse 2, further, "O my Lord, my misfortune is that I don't have attraction for the chanting of your holy names. I don't have attraction for the chanting of the holy names of the Lord," says Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in verse 2 in Sri Sri Shikshastaka, spoken in the 16th century. So we see how here not only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows the crying of a pure devotee for Krishna, love of a pure devotee to Krishna, but also he shows how a pure devotee is very humble, because he says that he himself does not have attraction for the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Of course, this is not true, but just he shows here humility. He shows how a pure devotee of the Lord thinks. A pure devotee of the Lord is always very humble, and he or she thinks that everybody else is a better devotee of the Lord. Everybody else is better. A pure devotee thinks in this way. Everybody else is better than me. So in this way, think a pure devotee. Very naturally, a pure devotee thinks in this way because they are very humble. So we see how beautifully is described this love of a pure devotee to Shri Krishna, and of course, pure devotee, the topmost pure devotee, Srimati Radhika, which is described in verse 10 of Sri Upadeshamrita of Srila Rupa Goswami. She's the topmost pure devotee among all the other gopis and among everybody else. All persons, um, how to say, yes, Srimati Radhika is the topmost pure devotee among everybody else, among every other devotee. And after her are the gopis of Vrindavan. In Vraja Lila, after them are other personalities, like, for example, Narada Muni. And um, of course, such personalities like His Divine Grace Bhaktivinoda Vrnda Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda. He is also a pure devotee, no any doubt in that. And also, for example, Śrīla Narayana Maharaj, his um, um, sannyas god brother, his sannyas guru, Śrīla Pragyana Keshava Goswami Maharaj, is also no any doubt a pure devotee. The Diksha Guru of His Divine Grace Bhaktivinoda Vrnda Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Swami Prabhupāda, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvati Ṭhākura Prabhupāda, is know any doubt, of course, a pure devotee, and so on. With that so on, I want to say that there are also many other pure devotees. Um, yes. And the love of all these pure devotees to Krishna is described in every verse of Sri Sri Shikshastakam. Okay, now I would like again to repeat that, as you all know, I'm not qualified in such topics like Vedic literature and Vedic poetry. So if I try to say something on these topics, you must know I'm not trying to instruct anybody. I'm just only trying to understand what is written there. Of course, one have to try to understand the Vedic literature under the guidance of teachers, under the guidance of Diksha Guru and Shiksha Gurus. All of you who are um, Vaishnavas, devotees in Raganuga Bhakti, and especially those in Rupanuga Bhakti, you are all my teachers, you are all my gurus. I pay obeisances to you. Dandavat Pranam. Vancha Kalpatarupascha Kripasnukupevaccha Patitnam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. What does that mean, this prayer? Shivashnava Pranama. That means I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desired trees, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your attention.